it's called. So let's get straight into the first game of day number 2 of week 2. Before we get started, a lot of you guys out there on YouTube have been asking me, what is the program? How do I get the program? Where can I find the program? Can I use the program that I'm using for all these analysis videos? And yes, I believe you can. What you have to do is go on to Twitter. I'll put it in the description below on the video as well. Go on to Twitter and follow Utter Production. I believe it's Utter_prod, P-R-O-D, on Twitter. And then write to the guys there and say, hey guys, I really want to do analysis for my team, or I'm a coach, or I'm an analyst, whatever. Write to them and they will hook you up with access to their software. So do that. It's a great software. I use it pretty much every day. And I know the guys that make it. They're very talented bunch of guys. So do make sure to go on Twitter, follow them, and yeah, and see if you can become an analyst yourself. But with that, let's get straight into week number 2, day number 2, and here in game number 1 of the NPL. I really quickly saw right there the plane, very southern. And, well, I mean, as much as I hate these planes, I know there's some people that like them for whatever reason, but it does cause a lot of trouble, and we see it actually really early, because look up here already. We got SA, we got Noble, and we got Envy, and well, technically we got E United as well, but a lot of teams up here. I believe they actually somehow get out of this without anyone getting killed, but everyone's fighting for vehicles up there. That could have become a, well, yeah, quite a cluster, but fortunately, oh, actually, nope, not everyone gets out of it. Like, there you go. Defines it, kills 1 from Noble, Noble lose 2, Noble lose 3. So Noble, well, I mean, no, Noble is a team that really take the casualty in all of this. And now the circle pops, well, it's somewhat center, but it's rather south. It includes part of military base as well. So now you reach a point at which you gotta figure, if I'm a Yasnaya team, if I'm a Severny team, if I'm a North George team, or South George team for that sake, is it gonna be worth it to go all the way up there to then have to go back in? Or is it not, and then I'll just go down? I believe both Envy go Yas and Shoot to Kill go up to South George as well, actually, but it does, well, I mean, force you to consider, do we want to spend the time now going up to then have to go back down? Again, this circle isn't that far south, or on one of the edges. So it's not because it's that big of a deal. It's just one of those things you have to worry about. Because with the loot having been increased, I mean, of course here, it's not like it's the Face It loot 3.0 loot everywhere or anything of the sort. But, I mean, loot is increased, and you can get looted pretty much anywhere. It's more the case on Miramar than Erangel, but as you see here, majority of teams opt to go to their designated loot spots. With the southern plane, of course, Wildcard is going to go down south to Primorsk. They'll have an easy time road sitting there. And then you have Space Station with a three-way split here down by Ferry Pier. It's a split we see very often. Of course, the guys have done looting, so they've moved out. We have one Smurf, I believe, over here. Vexel was looting the houses down here. He's moved out to take control over the hilltop. Some call them Cloud9 Hill, Tinder Gold Hill, Pachinki 1, 2, whatever you want to call these two hills. Normally, I mean, the normal call is that this over here is Pachinki Hill, and then this hill right here has a lot of different names. I think I've heard, yeah, probably like 6 or 7 different call outs for that spot. But if you guys have one, please drop it in the comments. Let me know. What do you call this hill? What do you call this hill? Or if you guys out there in the chat have a specific name for that. Rotation hill, maybe, because everybody rotates over it. But nonetheless, let's speed things up a little here. Everyone starts rotating on in. There's a lot of water. And of course, it's not guaranteed yet that it's not going to go military. But as we can see, most teams opt to stick on the northern side. Novo was looted by Oxy, and they actually opt to go on the western bridge. I believe they had a scout over, and they saw both McCoy and Balak sit up here, and they're like, nope, let's not get bridge camped right off the bat. So they decide to take a bridge control themselves. Smart split they have here. They keep Clamp on the southern side in case it should shift back. They now have at least one guy over on this side, so they have the entire, like, the full length of the bridge pretty much under control, which yeah, it gives them a lot of info and a lot of control over the rotation. If he has to push up, then he's gonna have 3 guys on the northern side. If they have to push down, they're gonna have a guy on the on the southern side as well. So let's see, new circle pops. So where do we go? And boom. Okay, guaranteed, no military. Clamps should be rotating over immediately. The guys in Ghost, they'll be rotating on up, you would assume, to see. And then we have this area. I mean, this is always, I don't know if I should call it interesting, but this is always a fun area of the map. I mean, we've seen this game, like pretty much specifically this game happened once before, where you had Cloud9. First, they sat 4 guys in double barns, then they pushed back into Pachinki, where there were like 5 other teams there. And looking at how big a part of the circle Pachinki is, and with the field, I mean, I mark the field as well because it's yet another of those places where you don't want to go if you can avoid it, right? I mean, there's absolutely nothing to go for other than maybe the wizard in the field. So you don't want to go there, you don't want to go inside Pachinki, meaning that this entire pretty much center point of the circle becomes extremely hard to play around, because if you're a team that's still rotating in, you're immediately thinking, okay, first of all, there's no way in hell we're getting this far center, and second of all, if we do get center, there's no way in hell these compounds aren't taken. But as you can see, they actually aren't. I do believe that there will be, though, within a short amount of time. So let's see, circles coming once again to a close in just a short minute. Everyone's rotating on in. Lasarius, SA, and E United all up and around here on the eastern side. I would assume to see them bailing their vehicles like down here on the southern side of the forest, and then continue on foot. If not, then keep their vehicles so they can rotate around the northern side should they need to later on. Because once you're within, I kind of want to say, maybe not this area down here, but once you're within, I mean, this area up here, you don't need a vehicle. If you know for a fact that the game is going to go into this area, you do not need a vehicle whatsoever. You might want to get a vehicle if the next circle hard shifts over here, so you don't want to park them way down here and then run up. That's why you'll leave them down and around the edge here, so you can always take your vehicles and go around south, or try to go around north. You could even, I mean, if you're that desperate, you could even go all the way further around the northern side here and then come down. But let's wait and see with the new circle popping where we're going. Shoot to kill, try to hold off Tempo Storm. They'll sit 4 guys down in yellows. Looks like Sandpie did manage to make his way up around to ruins. Wildcard, Space Station having their little hilltop skirmish going on there. A lot of room on the center. That's actually extremely interesting. It could become a big factor later on as well. And Demic, they're going back to the East Bridge. Okay, so they saw Oxy leaving over here, and now they're actually saying, you know what? Again, same thing with Ghost before. There's no reason for us to take a fight here. It's not in the circle. There's nothing to play for. Let's just play it safe, tank the blue for a little, and then we'll get in later. So everyone's pretty much in. You see Endemic coming in there in the bottom of your screen as well. New circle pops. Now where are we going? Where are we going? Boom. Once again, this area, a place you do not want to go. At this point, though, if you're coming in from the south, if you're sort of stuck on the west side, you might just want to smash it into Pachinki. Honestly, there's not a whole lot to play from. I like the split. I really, really like the split that Cloud9 has right here. They have a ton of control. Only issue is now is approximately the time at which they have to prioritize. Do we want to stay in Pachinki or do we want to play the double barns? Because we're reaching a point, there's still 15 teams alive. So we're reaching a point at which, I mean, chances are that one of these 2 spots will be contested. They will be smashed into with vehicles from a team, maybe from the south. Maybe Endemic will send it straight in. Maybe some of the guys from the north will try and crash their way in. They might want to go for the 1 story instead. But we are reaching a point in the game, maybe if not this circle, then the next one, where you have to figure, can we hold this 2 people only with the help from our teammates on the other side? Or do we actually need to be 4 guys in 1 spot now? We do see that from time to time. Teams, it's more in Miramar, I feel like, than in Rankle. But teams trying to hold their split for too long. And believe me, splits can be smart. Splits are really good. You can get more info. You're more spread out. You have a bigger chance of getting inside the next circle. But at the same time, you're fewer in numbers, and if a full 4-man team crashes into your compound and you're only 2 guys there, I mean, you do see Cloud9 here, they're split in a way so that they can at least to some extent assist each other. But if you have a full team that crashes in on the north side of this compound and they just full on sprint into the buildings, before K-Mind and Nerf get into their vehicles, get over the field and help out their teammates, odds are that the team will already, if not have killed Lopes and Profi, then at least have fought them for a long time, meaning that multiple new teams can come in and try and third party. So dangerous to keep splits. Not this late. I mean, around this time or the circle after would be the time at which you'd want to start grouping up. That's for sure. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Nobody wants to go Pachinki. We do have Simplicity up there. And now the Crush. Oh, no, not exactly. Not exactly. Kinda. Ghost, though. They are sending it in. Drazzle goes down. Froltier Balak, and I believe, were there 3 guys to 1 vehicle? That's a bit of a desperation move. But of course, I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is sort of the scenario, right? Pachinki is the place you don't want to go. But at the same time, you take a look at the list of, okay, this is not in anymore, this is not in anymore, this is not in anymore, this is in, but it's taken. Well, Pachinki is open. Let's just send it. Unfortunately, Drazzle went down, but looks like they did at least manage to get in there with 2 guys alive. The good thing about this is that now they can just, I mean, if more circles come in here, all these other teams will have to fight their way inside Pachinki, which will give Ghost a lot of placement points. That being that with the new point system, of course, you don't get placement points before top 8, which normally, when do you have 8 teams left? Around circle 6, maybe even 7, maybe even 8, honestly, especially when it's in the city. So might not have helped them that much, but we'll see. Teaming comes over. They realize now we gotta play together. We talked about this previous circle or around this one. Gotta play smart, gotta play together. And now they do group up. So Pachinki is, well, I mean, pretty much half of the circle. You could still sit in forests up and around here. You have the compound on the northern side. And barely you have Wildcard's compound. And then there are some rock formations out here you can play from. And then, of course, you have the entire hillside down here. So I would assume to see Lasarius, if they have scouted properly, go up here, try to scout further, maybe go over here as well, and then rotate in from this side. You can see them sitting all the way up here on the north. That would be the smarter play for them. Maybe even, I mean, ditch your vehicles and then run through here. It might just take too long, because when you come here later in the game, these circles, I mean, the time in between them is obviously shorter. They close slower, but it's a shorter time span you have to move around. Oxy, they're crashing in. Space Station Gaming crashing in. Looks like VG is opting to do the same thing. I mean, 15 seems alive still, right? We're at a point now at which it's just, guys, there's nothing open remaining. Let's just go into Pachinki, and now we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you count this spot as Pachinki, then we have 8. We have over half the teams sitting in each their little compound in Pachinki, trying to stay alive. That's not the kind of spot you want to be in at all. But now let's see, does the next circle go into the city, or does it go out? I be damned. Goes into the city again. So now we have a new scenario with all these northern teams having to do something. I guess Wildcard could still, oh, not Wildcard, Shoot to Kill could still, there's like some plateaus south of the compound here that you can play from, or the hillside if you can get out Lasarius. Lasarius did push around this side. Smart play from them, by the way. Yep, Elo is going up here on the plateau. Smart positioning by them. They need to hold off all these people over here. And you can see that they're doing exactly that. Elo pushes up quickly, takes out some of the guys from SA, and then he gets the help from Envy as well. United all have to leave. There's a dip going alongside the road down here. Would assume to see them go for that. Taylor goes down. They lose 1 in the transition there. Once again, circle is in Pachinki. This is insane. It's very rare that from circle 2, everything just goes into Pachinki. Normally it goes out a bit, and then it shifts back in. So this having, I mean, these circles having been guaranteed Pachinki for so long, that's not something you see very often. Let's see. Well, I mean, this is this is where doing this off of a map stream sometimes become a little chaotic, because we have 30 players alive, and I guess we can say that well, I mean, yeah, a solid 25 of those are inside of Pachinki. Now, it does go out a bit. It goes out a bit. The circle goes out a little. So right now, on the northern side, Shoot to Kill, they just have to chill. I mean, they have to push in, obviously, but they have simplicity to worry about. United, they're just gonna hide behind this wagon over here. Maybe they'll shoot up north if they see anyone, and they're not gonna be doing anything at all. So what's playable here? SSG is gonna move over and take this. I call it 6-pack because it kind of looks like a 6-pack. Tumai all by himself. He's gonna have a rough time. Hello and Civils, they try to make the run up. United does go down, and so does Shoot to Kill though in the end. Right now, I would say the best position is Simplicity. Ghost would have one of the better positions too if they weren't just 2 alive. But Simplicity being 4 guys in the garage compound, that's really, really strong. Especially if they get the next circle, and they do. Shoot to Kill have a good 2-2 split down here as well. I mean, this is where you have the big road here. This is going to be like the death road. And then look at this. But you have 8 players on the northern side, the remaining 11 sitting on the south. Whichever side of this road it shifts to, it could most likely determine who wins this game. It's gonna, oh yeah, of course, it's last circle, so it's gonna go dead center. 19 alive in the last circle. Wow. Simplicity still 4 up. I mean, they had the best position and they gotta win the game. Makes perfect sense. Better spot wins, and yeah, and they win off of it. They were sitting there for a while, and you can see they're actually one of the few teams alongside Cloud9 that opted to go down here early on, already at circle 3. And well, I mean, they got the win off of it. So congrats to Simplicity, taking home win number 1 on the second day there. Let's jump straight into game number 2 of the day. Can we do it like this now? No, we'll have to refresh it. There we go. Solo. And there we go. So we'll hide all this. This time around, playing a little more fair. We talk about when we did week 1, we talked about how eastern a lot of these teams are in. Like, not a lot of the teams go far north, but looks like this time around actually. Noble up here. SA is up here as well. Center circle, as great as can be. We don't even need to talk rotations. I mean, you can rotate anywhere you want. Only things you want to avoid is driving through Minas. That's going to be dangerous, so most people would go over, through, or below La Bandita. I would not expect to see anyone drive through this way. Northern side, you can do whatever you want. You won't see any teams going through here. You will probably not see any teams come towards Picado. They'll go either around this way or over and above that way. But other than that, I mean, everything's up for grabs. Not a whole lot to it, really. You can see pretty much all the teams, because the plane was somewhat northern, so nobody, you can draw a line pretty much straight here, and you have all of this accessible down here. Teams will know this, so a team like Endemic might look to rotate underneath, maybe try and get some of the compounds down here if they rotate early on, and maybe Lasarius as well. They can go in from the southern side because they wouldn't want to drive through Los Leones. So I would expect to see them go up somewhere around here. Or maybe even go all the way to Valdenmar and then go in. Let's see, teams are starting to cram in towards each other. Plenty of room in the center. Only issue is really that you have this wall. You have this mountain ridge right here. That's, I mean, you can drive up and down it, sure. And with so many teams wanting to go center early, the issue just becomes that if you're on this hill, you're extremely exposed to the teams on the other side. And the teams above you for that sake, so you don't really want to contest too much. And there aren't a lot of compounds in the area. Normally, we draw like the center circle. Teams don't want to be sitting in Picado, and teams probably don't really want to be sitting in Power Grid either. So, what do you have that's really viable? You have the compounds up and around here. There's a few rock formations, because you want to hide your vehicles as well, right? Graveyard is accessible. But other than that, not a whole lot to pray from. Because if you're doing like Temple Storm is doing right now, sitting down here, sorry, hiccups, you might just get caught off in this compound. You need to be in a position where you can probably save your vehicles so they don't get tires popped. And getting out of here can be extremely dangerous. If you have a team like Cloud9 shooting down at you, and if your team on the other side shooting at you as well, getting out of this compound is going to be extremely tricky should the next circle go over here or something like that. So let's see how things. Why does Cloud9 always go to Picado? Well, I mean, they have contested it and they've gotten it, and you can pretty much rotate anywhere for free from Picado. We talked to Nerf and K-Mind about this as well. You have a lot of rotation opportunities. I mean, it's it's very hard to find a bad circle when you're playing for Picado. You will always have somewhat of a rotation opportunity coming out of there. So I believe that's a big factor in it. That, I mean, you have a lot of vehicle spawns, you have great loot, you can loot up quickly, and it's not really that dangerous of a place to go. I mean, if you get contested, sure, you don't want to loot it, but it's a really good spot to loot. Okay, so now we have Endemic. They did loot, did go down around the side as expected. Laserius pushed underneath as expected as well. You see, when we talk about these teams and what we think they should do, and when they do that, that's already a sign. I mean, if you guys could do the same thing, looking at this right here, say, oh, I think Endemic, or the smarter thing would be to go whatever rotation into the circle. When you start being able to do these things and kind of calculate and figure out how things will, not will unfold, but how you think they could, like what's the probability, what would be the smarter play theoretically, when teams then start to execute the plays that way, that's when you realize, I mean, you have the mindset of not necessarily a pro player, but you're beginning to understand the thought process and how players think in different scenarios. And if you ever want to be a player yourself, that can help you a lot. If you want to be a coach, if you want to be an analyst, if you want to have anything to do with competitive PUBG, really caster, analyst for a team, or on stream, or like from the talent, or host even. I mean, anything involving PUBG. Once you understand the thought process of what these players do, it's gonna help you a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. So every time you see a game, look at the map. Like if you have the map stream up as well when you see a tournament, look at the map as well and say, okay, so this team, they're sitting here right now. What have they been able to scout from this position, and where can they rotate off of that? This would probably be the smarter thing to do. And then follow that team, see what they actually do end up doing, just to see if your hunch was right. It's a good way to test yourself, I think, sometimes. Also because if you're in a situation like Endemic right now, you get hard shifted away from, and you're like, what do we do here? Oh wait, I remember Endemic did this thing and it worked. Of course, no two games are the same. Teams will always be in different spots and whatnot, but I mean, if it works for the pros, then odds are that at least you could give it a try or do something similar if you're in a situation that's very much the same. So let's see what happens with all these teams trying to rotate in. Endemic, they're gonna go straight in here. They're gonna meet up with United. Actually, okay, so they see United cross, smart rotation. They wanted to go up here, then they see United come from down here, and they decide to push underneath instead. Laserius next to them, they're trying to hold them off a little. It's kind of funny because Laserius used to loot here. I'm not sure why they didn't this game though. They normally loot these compounds down here, and this time around they were down by Porto Paraíso, so a little interesting. Back to now they're actually back in back in their hometown, I guess you can say. Now circle goes center, well, pretty much as center as you can. And we talked about this mountain ridge before. It's going to be even more pivotal now. It's going to be a huge factor coming into the last sort of last circles. All these teams are already fighting. Teams are starting to, well, ditch their vehicles. And what can you really do from here? If you're sitting on the east, stay over there, hope for a circle. Because once you start pushing over here, like once you're in this territory, I want to mark it all the way up there actually, you're not going to get those vehicles moving again. It's going to be extremely tricky though, that's for sure. There are tons of dips. It's very, very curved there, so you can't really gain speed if you try to drive up the hills. There are most likely already teams over in these areas, so the only thing you can really do is sit from over here, try and see if you can get a knock or two on a team that's sitting, and then just crash it. And once you crash it, you won't have vehicles anymore. But then again, I mean, we are in Circle 4, so vehicles aren't that necessary, but of course there are some open stretches up here where vehicles could be useful. But with 60 players alive still, odds are that you won't really get any use for them. And also there aren't a lot of compounds remaining. I mean, you have on the northern side, you have San Martin, where you have got a lot of players up and around. On the southern side, you have Picado, that's completely empty as well. And then you have these small compounds around here on the edge of power grid. If this circle goes anywhere like this, like anywhere center, there is not going to be a lot of ground to take for these players. We would be down to like 40 players within the next circle push. So let's see how things unfold with this one closing in. All these teams are starting to get closer and closer together, and then you might think, how can these teams be pretty much right on top of each other without shooting at one another? That's what you get on Miramar. I mean, rock formations, all those things. You rarely see teams very close to each other, unless if it's in a city. You rarely see teams very close to each other in a wrangle that aren't fighting. Woohoo! That, my friends, is a circle that Ghost will sit and cheer themselves on their something for. That sentence didn't make sense. They're happy with that circle, I guess is what I was trying to say. That is one hell. Does it connect? Oh, almost even connects there too. That is a very, very, very Eastern hard shift. And Ghost, they're probably sitting here. Look at this circle. I mean, look at this. Any circle that does not include, well, I want to say this. I mean, it can go here, it can go here. You know, any circle that doesn't include this would be suicide for Ghost. And then they get this. That is amazing for them. For everyone else, though, now have to figure, because there's only room for so many teams on the top plateau that ends around here. Then you have these hill formations that we talked about, they're absolutely garbage. And worst comes to worst is that for all these teams sitting out here on the western side, Picado, that's a no-go. And on the northern side, you have yet another no-go. That's San Martin. So what you want to do in this circle, what you want to do is rotate around this side over, rotate around this side over, or try to sneak your way in late. But you can't really do that because you have San Martin here and you have Picado here, two areas that you don't really want to go through. Outside, you also dip your vehicles. If you can get them, you can try and drive through the city, but that's going to be like a praying that you're actually going to get over there alive. So, I think, Ghost is really lucky that this previous circle is set the exact way that it is. Because I think the majority of teams will be caught on this side, forced to fight each other. I mean, you have two teams over here. There are still, that's what, how many players? This is, no, it's only 7 players. Okay, so you have 47 players over here. All these 47 players, I mean, it looks like Endemic is opting to go up this hill. But all these 47 players, at least for now, has to share this, in which there are 2.5 compounds. Simply not possible. You cannot do that. So all these teams will try. I mean, I think at least some of them will try and go around, but we'll see how it works out. Laserius going around, United going around. They're all doing it. They're forced to stop in Picado. That's the thing. You cannot just sprint through the city. Now they come up though. Cloud9 going in. Wildcard doing the exact same thing on the northern side because Space Station Gaming and SA they're fighting up here. That means that other teams can't go around. They all heard the shots, so they cannot push around with vehicles. Meaning this entire area is going to be open. And it's going to be extremely tricky to make your way in. 39 players alive. When this circle started pushing in, there were 53 alive. We lost 14 players in the matter of seconds. And that's what happens when you get these, well, brutal hardships, to be honest. Because it's even worse when you have this road in the middle, right? Next circle. Once again, east. Wow. When you see this circle, there is not a whole lot in my mind that says, oh, well, this circle is going to end on Graveyard. But double hard shifted to the east. That is very fortunate for Ghost. Now the issue for them becomes they have to hold off everyone on the southern side. Anyone trying to crash in with vehicles and any potential people pushing up the hill from over here. They will get some help because if one team, say, shoot to kill, try to push up, Whites and Fate, they can shoot over towards them as well. But Ghost have a big task at hand. That's why you see them spread out so thin. They really, really want to get control. Frolicker is sitting up here. He's trying to look at everything coming in from the south. McCoy is trying to hold down here. He's sitting up in the church. And then you have Drassel trying to hold the entire northern side all by himself, actually. While all these other teams are sort of fighting off each other. Envy trying to push in. No. 3 hard shifts in a row. Holy cow. This time around, then shoot to kill who's saying, thank you, Brendan Green. For those of you guys who don't know, Brendan Green is the guy that he is player unknown. Yeah, just thanking the circle gods. They're a little bless RNG in the chat, and and saying, you know what, we will just sit in this compound and we will just chill, and then we will wait for people to come to us because there's not a whole lot to play from. You can see all these teams trying to fight to make their way in. Meanwhile, Shoot to Kill just tapping away at everyone's alive. Ghost still in on the edge here, still with 3 guys up. I mean, they held them off. They held them off as best as they could. Now Circle goes on the eastern side, and this means that Shoot to Kill has to cross. They still have 4 guys up. They got all their vehicles too because they came in from the northern side. And now, let's see, does Envy third party this? Nope, they do not. Venerated is all alone. Adam's smart. I like the fact that he stayed. They sent 3 guys over. He stays. He can sit from here. He can look over while they're driving up, try and shoot over. If they're trying to push down while they're coming up with vehicles, he can try and shoot over to take control. Also, he can stay here to hold off the entire southern side. So really smart. Like, he can hold if anyone's trying to flank around the side or anything. So really smart positioning by Adam, the fact that he stays there. I think he's going to stay too until the circle starts closing, because this is the death circle. So it's going to start closing on in. And there you go. Game over. Shoot to Kill wins it. I mean, again, this hard shift. They were in a good spot, but it's a very edge position. It could just as well have gone like this, like this, like this. I mean, it could have gone so many places, but the fact that it actually hard shifts so hard north that they're the only team. Look, I mean, look, we can draw a line. They're the only team in the top half of the circle, and they get it gifted. Boom, there you go, right up to them. So fortunate, I guess you can say, game for. Hope we forgot to update this, but fortunate game for Shoot to Kill, and they end up winning because of it. I'm just gonna write game 3 immediately because, well, that's what we're going into. Oh, it's game number 2. Game number 2 in the books. Interesting one. It's rare to have endings around around that graveyard area. I feel like I don't see those too much. That was an interesting ending there. Let me just hide this real quick. There we go. Yes, game number 3. Let's see. Circle or plane, I guess, north to south. Everything's accessible, but of course, with Miramar being the size it has, far east is going to be hard to reach, and with a circle like this, you might not even want to go out there to begin with. So, so assuming that some of these far eastern teams, Impala, El Azahar, all this, will just loot where they are and start driving back in, then the sort of issue becomes for Tempo Storm, for example. They can't just go like this, unless if they go in extremely late, and even then, it's gonna be hard. So they might just want to swoop around on the southern side and try and get in from Val Del Mar, because they know nobody loots Val Del Mar, so they might as well just drive down there. Asarius, they're in the middle again now. They're gonna start rotating out early, probably got the loot that they wanted, and then they go up and take the compound here. SSG, they're gonna take control further up on the hills. Cloud9, they're rotating right behind Lasarius. We've actually seen these two teams rotate pretty much through each other a lot of times so far. And we know that Cloud9 likes to play this hill and the hilltop up here, but Lasarius beat them to it this time around. It's actually a smart rotation from them. We know that they like to go up there, but smart, really smart that they rotate so early to get that position. So Cloud9 is forced to stay down around the southern side of Mountain Nuevo. And let's see here. Circle's closing on in. E United rotating around the southern side. Yep, Tempo Storm is doing the same thing. So they're going to be coming in from down here also. Endemic and Whites and Fate are fighting each other. Everybody wants these center positions, causing a lot of teams to fight because it's very open around here. You only really have Mountain Nuevo that's center, and then some of these smaller compounds. So for all these teams that aren't in early, that try to say, oh, we can just take this compound because it's on the edge. Well, I mean, there's already a team there. And you're forced to take the fight with them if you really want to contest it. And I guess that's what happens. Circle 2 pups. South is where we go. So smart that they had this 2-2 split going, and now they changed it south. The guys from Cloud9, because, well, I mean, they're sitting better in it now. And for the teams that are coming in from the south, they're going to be like, thank you. The southern hardship is where it's at. We have a lot of teams on the north, and here the issue is you cannot just drive through Montenegro, obviously. So what you want to have to do is drive all the way around, maybe even south of Chumacera, down towards the cliffs down here. Or you want to really, really hug the wall, like the big wall out here, and try and drive around and take a compound down here, because you cannot cross over. I mean, you can cross over, but it's very dangerous. We talk about these hillsides all the time, right? So those are really your only spots. I mean, if you're sitting here like SSG, up and over, up and over, you can't really just go straight in. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to do. See, they just take one compound down. Everyone is going out on the west. They want to hug it and go down. Ghost trying to go underneath, exactly as we talked about. Everyone's trying to come in from the north. Now they're starting to spread out a little, and they do manage to find themselves some spots. And the SSG move from one compound to another one. You gotta get greedy. You gotta take some of those compounds, right? New circle, once again, south, exact same thing as before. Push around the side, all the way down. Push around the side, all the way down. If you're a team, I mean, if you're a team that's sitting up here, you have to do these sort of things and then come in from the absolute bottom of the circle. If you're a team sitting up here, I don't even think you're gonna move. I mean, center obviously being open, it's randomly. That's often how it goes, but it probably won't be for a long time. Ghosts try to make their way in, but SA is already down there. Tempo Storm, smart scouting for them. They have a 2-2 split. That could be dangerous now, but look at the northern side up here. So many teams caught up on the north and the western side of the circle. That's because of this. You have the mountain line, or the mountain ridge, whatever you call it, right here. People do not want to push down through this area. It's difficult to drive through, and there are teams, look at how many teams are sitting on the other side just waiting to plow you down if you try to like make it down this hill. So it's going to be very tricky for teams trying to sort of rotate from up here and potentially over here should the next circle shift east. We'll have to see though, because I mean, not only it's not like they sit next to each other and go, okay, let's rotate together, shall we? They're trying to kill each other while teams are trying to go down, while all these teams are trying to shoot over towards them, because they're way more spread out over here than they are up on the north western side of the circle. So shoot to kill, smart rotation around the corner. You want to go south, same thing going for Ghost, going all the way underneath. Smart, smart, smart. New circle pups. And we do go east. We do go east. So look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams out on the western side. Oxy, they have to push in with their vehicles. They're doing that immediately. Wildcard, they have made their way down to the little shack down there. I mean, in these circles, you're just gonna settle with what you can get, honestly. There's not a whole lot more to it. You're just gonna take what you can get. That's pretty much how it is. It's very hard to play around these areas of the map. And you gotta stick together. It's too late to start splitting now. You see also that Tempo Storm, they sent their last 2 members over towards the church area. They have a really good spot in there now. They have the compound on the north and the hilltop up here that can see them, but that's about it. But you gotta stick together. You cannot split this late in the game. There are too few. It's too greedy to try and split out and sit 2-2 and expect to be able to hold it, because you will get crashed. Believe me, you will get crashed. The Ghost, full commit to the hill up here. They take the spot away from E United. Nice pull up by them. And then you have Oxy. Only 2 players remaining, though. Trying to make their way in from the south. It's going to be a tough one. But they do have a little room to maneuver around. Simplicity and Space Station. Forced to take a fight up on the northern side. And, I mean, that's just the thing. I mean, there's not enough room for all these people. Oh, my God. What is up with Ghost hard shifts? Holy moly. They're sitting on the mountainside here. They dip their vehicles. If they have to run down here, they're completely screwed. But they get a crazy southern hard shift down towards them. That is absolutely insane. Tempo Storm, of course, not really disappointed with this circle either. And they even clear out Oxy. So they have all the room in the world now. They can just sit up there, kings of the hill, take full control of everything. The only immediate threat is going to be SA, because they're really the only one that can push them, which they probably won't do anyway. Now, finally, they'll have to push down. What I would assume to see is actually them dipping on the backside, try to make it down to the valley, and then push in from here. Trying to remember, there are some dips up and around here that you can play from, but I'm not sure if that's what they're going to do, because they'll be taking fire from all these teams trying to make the rotations. Okay, so they do actually. Yep, they go for the dip. the other position down here, the rocks or dips or whatever it is. So Ballot goes down. Frolicher is all that's left now. Tempo Storm full on committed to one side of the compound. Smart. Want to play it safe. Want to stick together. They know they still have 4 guys up, and with them seeing there's only 12 players alive, they're thinking, okay, odds are that, well, we'll be the team with the highest amount of players alive. Might as well use that to our advantage and take the fights together. Wildcard, they've been chilling on the as one of the few teams actually that never committed over on the other side. You can see if we rewind a little bit. All right, there you go. They never really committed. They sat up here when all the other teams tried to do the big rotations around, and then they were fortunate that the next circle hard shifted over because they could go down the southern side. They really were happy with that southern hard shift as well, because you see they're split right here. Boom, there you go. They're still very much in it. And then as we go a little further forward, they actually get the complete hard shift to them now. So it goes away from Ghost, but goes to Wildcard instead. So very satisfied with that position, obviously. Trying to make something off of it. New circle pops once again. Second hard shift in a row to Wildcard. Probably not that disappointed with that either. Tempo Storm, 4 guys together. That's how we know they like to play. Tries to do some damage. Ooh, there you go. That's a little bit of damage done. And I was gonna say that should be the call for Extreme and Pride to push across, because you see you have Cherry Poppins pushing up all by himself, snaking his way in. Actually gets 2 knocks before he goes down. Envy goes down as well, and now they have to figure, okay, so if there's 2 knocks, if Sampa was the 3rd guy, he got a kill. Pride, Extreme, Sharp Shot, 7 guys alive, 2 guys are knocked. Okay, that's gonna be a 4-man team. So they sent their guys over, full push on it. The Regis do come up though, try to make their way up, and now they know that that sort of little time, what do you say, the little gap they had to make that push has now been, I mean, the push was good, but now the time they had to push the team is off. So they try to come around the backside. Third party Chap goes down. Gray goes down. Extreme 1v3 now. That's not going to be easy, Pride. Good luck, buddy. Yep, there you go. He goes down as well. So Tempo Storm winning the game. I mean, they were the team that committed early on to take. They had a really smart 2-2 split here with the high ground position over the church area, and then they full on committed to it. We talked about it. Around that circle 4, circle 5 is when you have to go together. And then they gave up church to go down here and hold off the southern side because they knew that was going to be the most important. They went back up, they swooped over towards Ghost, took them out, and then cleaned around the top side. And they kept 3 guys alive to the very end of the game. So very, very, very well played by Tempo Storm in that game. And that's we see them. That's the reason we see them up in the top of the NPL leaderboards. They play extremely well, especially when you allow for Ghost to play together. I mean, Ghost is a team that can take a situation that looks completely horrible and unwinnable and somehow pull it off anyway. So very, very well done by Ghost there. Now let's try and see here. Game number 4. I'll just allow myself to take a sip of coffee. So, game number 4. Again, if you guys have any questions in the chat, please do feel free to ask. Let's see here. Southern Plain, straightforward. There are a lot of Eastern teams, actually, so this could be a little interesting. There are a lot of Eastern teams. Fire away, Fras. Very important. Please do ask. Please do ask. Eastern teams, we know there's a Lepovka team. United likes to split over here with Noble. It looks like Noble have opted to go military this time around, and oh my lord. This is what we call a horrible circle, especially for the southern teams. If you were here in the beginning of the stream, Frash, you would know that what I had for breakfast was actually the bun that I ate right before we started this. So a bun, all I've had, with cheese. Yeah, so this circle, southern, rivers in play. Majority, if not all teams, will opt to go on the northern side. For the teams that are coming extremely late, they might just want to lurk around by Volcano. or the forest area down here, ruins, whatever, maybe even the Rosok Hills to try and scout upwards, but it's gonna be very limited. I mean, majority of teams will want to swoop either way around here, further around up the northern side, make their way over, even over the North George Bridge, or try and come up and cross over one of these two bridges here. I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna want to sit on the southern side of the water. Teams will. I mean, teams will. The military teams or whatever might just end up sitting down there, ghost taking boats going to Milta. That's an option as well, of course. They know they have their hot spawns in there, so they might as well. And then we have two teams looting military base. Why? I mean, it kinda makes sense. Noble saw that they couldn't go all the way east coast with that plane path. They realized, okay, we will have to fight for vehicles with E United. Is it going to be worth it? Nah, you know, we'll just dump military. Oh, well, there's another team coming with you. So unfortunately, that doesn't work out for them. Oxy, where's Oxy looting? Oxy, they are, they went back up to North George. Okay, so they've looted Novo a couple of times, but they go North George instead. And now teams are trying to rotate on over. Let's see here. Cloud9, they want to get out early. But we talked to Nerf and K-Mind about this. They know there's a team Rosog. They know they have teams above them, so they kind of need to get them out of there before they start moving themselves. Now they know that Whites and Faint is out. They tried to push up towards the Cube Bridge, but saw Tempo Storm there, so they have to change their direction. And now they're stopping here, scouting forward, making their rotations on up and over. In the meantime, everyone else already getting up here. Teams on the southern side, they'll be making their rotations on over as well. And I mean, there are enough spots up here on the northern side. You don't really have to fight. Severny obviously won't be taken by anyone. And I don't think that you'll see anyone in double trouble or crossroads down here early as well, or either, because it's very easy for other teams to destroy your vehicles. And if you get trapped down here without any vehicles, it's so open on all the sides that you cannot really get out of there. So that's why I don't normally see teams commit to this area that early. Now I do see Simplicity with this circle hard shift. Makes perfect sense. Look at this shift. Wow. And for all these teams down here, all you want to do right now is get your butt up there. You just have to get up. Get up on the northern side. I cannot draw a line. There you go. Or an arrow. Get up around Stalbert, push your way in. Get up in here, push your way in. You just got to get on the eastern side. That's all you got to do. Interrogate and Venerated have a good center position. I would expect for Envy to scout further and maybe split this instead of, I don't know. I would say this compound is better than where Caden and Venerated are sitting. But I don't know, maybe they had their wheels popped or something like that. Because holding this split is very good. So nonetheless, a lot of teams on the south. And because we haven't seen all these teams from the east yet come up, it means there's a ton of room to be played from up here. Let's see, nobody is out so far. Nope, looks like... Yeah, okay, so Cloud9, they were fighting on the bridge with Wildcard there, and then as they try to go back and over, Prof and K-Mind forced to make a rough rotation there. Trying to get inside the circle now, and there you go. They do manage to make the win. Okay, at this point, I'm not sure why Venerated isn't already in his car to go up here. I mean, you would assume for Pat Capson and Interrogate to have been scouting this for a while now. I mean, for multiple teams should have been scouting this now. So either they move over and Venerated and Caden take over gas station, or they just all four go over to the compound. Because this being open with this circle is absolutely insane to me. Let's see, now they're driving. Okay, so they only get to the dip here. They really don't want this compound. It could be one of those things where we don't even want to look over there because obviously that compound is going to be taken by now, right? Joke's on you. It's not. Venerated holds off one team with Caden, and Lasarius get themselves a free compound. There you go. And only lose one guy in doing so. Of course, the next circle has to shift away from water. I can understand that, so they might want to be staying down here for that reason, because it should go... No, I think it's actually going to circle like this, right? Either like this or way down here. I can't really tell. Yeah, something like that. I always forget how big that fourth circle is. So they're sitting up here. Obviously has to hard shift completely because it has to include minimum water. But even here, I would rather sit up here than I would want to sit down here. But that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They decide to stay on gas station and the dip south of it. rather than go over and take the compound. Northern or southern side of the compound still open for another team to push in. Phalanx now does push up, but a lot of teams concentrated on the western side, trying to leave out of Severny, and then you have the hillside teams down here on the I don't even know what this plateau is called, but there's like a ton of small wind what do you call them? Small shacks and stuff. I don't know if that has a name. Shacks on the hill. But there are 5 teams here now. Yeah, 5 teams, 3 of them being I guess, well, yeah, 3 of them being solos. And then you have a 2-man and a 3-man team just chilling around the same one little area. That's what you get with these rock formations. I mean, that's how you can do that. Luke trying to push out into the open, play by himself. It's gonna be tough. I believe he has a rock there or something he can play from. K-Mind is on the hill all by himself as well. Not gonna be easy for him to really do anything either. Lasarius, well, I mean, for now at least, they can just chill on the northern side. There's a little plateau down here you can play from as well. I'd assume to see Noble push down there because the only place you can really get contested from is the compound. So either Lasarius should push 2 guys up and take control here and look up here. Like make this push and then keep your eyes out here. Or I guess they're just staying. They're just, I mean, they're limiting themselves a lot by staying down here. Of course, they're waiting for the next circle now, for sure. Please start moving, guys. Not happening? Oh, no, now they do. Oh, so it might be down here, actually. I'm not sure. Could be there, too. Anyway. Envy, they push out from gas station. They have a the little ridge line over there that they can play from. K-Mind in a vehicle now. That's late. Drives. Okay, so he just drives to dead center. Drives to dead center. Tries to get himself a spot. Probably just chilling by his car. And circle pops. At least on him. But I mean, that's both good and bad. Because one thing is that he must have a car here. Because he drove one there. Second thing being that, well, I mean, it's kind of a last resort thing, right? You go center hoping a circle comes to you. Now it did come to him. But for shoot to kill, I mean, this is really the only way they can go. And them having seen him drive up, it's going to be him dead in a very short while. So he chills around. He does get, I mean, look at the amount of teams, though, that died with him there. There were 3 solos remaining. And from 6th to 3rd, I mean, that's a lot of, when we're talking in this point system, that is some pretty, I was just thinking, is it actually only 1? No, it's 3 points. Yeah. So decent upgrade from a solo player remaining. Now shoot to kill. They have the higher ground. Venerate and Caden try to push up. 4-man teams together. It's gonna be very hard for them. Yep, exactly. I mean, just like Tempo Storm. I mean, there are some of the teams in the NA and the NPL that can do these sort of things. Envy. Cloud9, Tempo Storm, White Fade. I think are my best 4-man push, nothing you can do type examples. They're playing extremely well, and they got a win off of it. So despite the fact that that I was questioning their sort of prioritizing in positions early on, they did manage to win it anyway. So I guess I'll just stop talking because they corrected me. But nonetheless, that was game number 4, NPL week 2 in the books. I'm sorry it has taken a while, but as you might be able to hear, I'm snotty and I have a well, my throat is better now, but I still have a running nose, I guess you could call it. So that's gonna be all for the NPL.